Hey guys, good morning. Red and black greetings. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro-Negro channel. If you're just arriving, I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below. Turn on the bell notification and leave that awesome like on the video. Man, it's really important for you to share and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our channel. You really help our work a lot, so subscribe right here, right now. Share it. Man, help us out. You're always helping us a lot by doing this, okay? It's also important for us to remember, man, that our sponsors are always there. In the pinned comment, do you want to have your own house in Orlando, Florida? Look right now, man, for the best person who can work with you, this real estate thing in Orlando, Miami, okay? Vivi Home is Orlando at Vivi Home is Orlando. You can reach out to her, say you came from Paparazzo. You'll get a big discount. And besides that, she'll guide you through everything and I'll tell you too. If you want to buy a house or a car, you can't do it without insurance. So you can get your insurance with AIP. Florida, look up AIP Florida now if you're in or coming to Florida, okay? Bringing you this information, obviously not everyone will want it, but if you're coming here, you can take advantage of it, okay? I also want to mention weight loss. With more hair, I now wear medium to large sizes. Some clothes are medium, some are large. I lost a lot of weight with Mais Cabello, and you can also lose weight with the My Slim program. There's a QR code on the screen. Just point your phone at the QR code and get in touch. You won't regret it. There's always a Mais Cabello near you, all over Brazil. Look, just come by. Al Hilal is already looking for a replacement, okay? Al Hilal is already looking for a replacement for Marcos Leonardo. Oh, but is he going to Flamengo? No, that doesn't mean he's going to Flamengo, but they're already looking for a replacement, knowing about the interest from some European clubs from Flamengo and so on. They're already looking for a replacement, so he's really going to be free. They're going to negotiate the guy, the fans there. We talked about it earlier. We've already mentioned it. We'll see that actually the fans want a player with more prestige. I think Marcos Leonardo is better, okay? But they're looking to negotiate. So that's what seems like is going to happen. All right. So we're also going to talk here about the Hulk situation, right? Hulk, the owner of Atletico, we're also bringing up the Felipe Luis situation here, keeping an eye on players in Spain, right? Also keeping an eye there with Flamengo already active in the market, right? And bringing up the situation with Marcos Leonardo as well. Confirmed name, okay, Marcos Leonardo's name is confirmed, all right? Really? We spoke with a source connected to Flamengo's management. We're going to bring you everything in this video, okay? I'm watching here because it notifies me when Otinho wakes up. When he does, I have to pick him up since I'm taking care of him. So, look, just bringing here that Al Hilal is already looking for a replacement, right? Because this information is very important, okay? Look, with Marcos Leonardo possibly leaving and confirmed on Flamengo's radar, let's discuss it. Meanwhile, Al Hilal is already looking for a striker in the market. According to the local press, the Norwegian striker Alexander Salov. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but he's known from Atletico de Madrid and is among the options for the Arab club. Besides him, Robert Lewandowski from Barcelona is also on the target list. And how does that affect the possible departure of Marcos Leonardo? It's because for them to sign a Galactico, a top level player, right? He will have to be included in that list of 8 foreign players who can be registered. Marcos Leonardo left the previous list, which was the under 21 list, something like that, and now he's on the list of 8. And they don't want a player like Marcos Leonardo. They want a top player, they want a big name. The Al Hilal fans want a big name, so Marcos Leonardo will stay on the market, right? And they're already looking for this big name player to please the fans. And Flamengo might have the opportunity to sign him, but you'll find out if Flamengo will or won't sign Marcos Leonardo. I'll go inside since Otinho already moved. I won't let him wake up. I'll pick him up and hold him. I'm here to bring you some important news that I just found out. I was putting Otinho to sleep and checking up on news about Flamengo's signings. Raiza started early and is already sharing information. I looked into this situation with Marcos Leonardo to confirm if it's really true, right? Because there was a previous source saying he was on Flamengo's radar. About 3 days ago, we even published it yesterday. Veen reported that Flamengo really had him as an alternative to Caio Jorge. Then I went to see if Flamengo will make an offer and what they are planning. The Arab press, the Saudi press, says that Flamengo will officially seek information from Al Hilal. The question is about the possibility of signing. How does Flamengo see Marcos Leonardo? He's confirmed to be on the radar. A board-connected source verified Marcos Leonardo is being considered. Flamengo is considering signing Marcos Leonardo, but he is not plan B. Okay? For Caio Jorge, Flamengo is looking for players with the profile exactly as Felipe asked, a profile with mobility, that Raiza brought mobility, pressure. I understand that Marcos Leonardo does all that. Felipe thinks he doesn't. He doesn't think Marcos Leonardo is. He is highly rated internally at Flamengo. Felipe thinks he's a great player, but Marcos Leonardo's name as a signing for Flamengo is not the priority. Flamengo is collecting information and positioning themselves, but still searching for a name. A player who fits more into the profile Felipe is looking for. And Marcos Leonardo isn't exactly that player. He's in the profile, he's on the list of possible signings, but he's not in that exact profile Felipe is looking for. So, it's a possibility. Yes, he's on the radar, yes, but he's not the number one priority. If Flamengo really can't sign Caio Jorge, which is even on hold at the moment, but Flamengo does have the possibility of signing Marcos Leonardo. But before that, they're looking for other names that are closer to what Felipe Luis wants for a Flamengo striker. That's right. Regarding Pedro, Flamengo is also very calm. They understand that he's one of the best players in the country. Felipe likes Pedro's style of play. Contrary to what many people expect, the issue has already been resolved and Flamengo doesn't want to sell Pedro. I've already said this here, so Flamengo is in a very good position. When it comes to strikers, no one in Brazil or in the Americas has a striker like Pedro Pedro. In fact, internally, even with the signing of Caio Jorge, they understand that Pedro is a level above Caio Jorge. The thing about Caio Jorge is also his age. He's a younger player, and they believe he can still increase his value a lot. It's the same case with Marcos Leonardo, but as I said, Flamengo is looking for a player with characteristics similar to what Felipe wanted. Regarding the signings, Raiza Simplicio mentioned that the transfer window is open. As for Flamengo trying to sign a center back, they already went after Vitão, and now, besides the center back, they're going to try to sign 3 more players. So the goal is already 4 players that Flamengo wants to sign. We broke the exclusive about defensive midfielder Marcos Antonio, and after that, everyone reported Alan might leave. Flamengo is having trouble signing Marcos Antonio, but they're still in the market looking for a midfielder. According to Raiza Simplicio, and from what I've found out, Flamengo also wants a midfielder with more mobility and passing ability. A player similar to Gerson, able to play both defensive and attacking midfield roles. So, Flamengo is looking for this kind of player, knowing that Allen is likely to leave and that Flamengo could lose him. Saul will be out for 4 months due to surgery in Spain, so Flamengo could lose him for that time and will need a replacement. They haven't been able to get a long run with De La Cruz, so they'll need to sign a midfielder to fill this gap. And also Allen's departure, so Flamengo has 3 more signings to make according to Reza. Midfielder, goalkeeper, Gabriel Brazão, as you saw, will actually bring you that information later in the video. Gabriel Brazão is not coming anymore. Flamengo seeks a goalkeeper, considering Pedro Morisco and other options Felipe Luis is evaluating in Europe. But Flamengo is signing a goalkeeper, a midfielder, and a center forward. Is Marcos Leonardo the player we're discussing, or is Flamengo considering someone who better fits Felipe's preferred profile? Look, we have a lot of information to share with you here. Man, I wanted to say this, man. The press, sometimes I think those guys outdo themselves. You know, guys, you know? I keep trying to understand what makes a guy say this kind of thing, bring this kind of news. Flamengo is the only team in Serie A that hasn't started preseason yet. Man, what's the point of a headline like that? Seriously. What makes the outlet, UOL, put out a headline like that? Flamengo is the only one in Serie A that hasn't started the season among the 20 Serie A clubs. Flamengo is the only one that hasn't started the 2026 preseason yet, which is scheduled for the 12th. Maybe it's because Flamengo is the only team that respects players' vacations, or because it's the only one that played in both the Club World Cup and the Brazilian Championship, with something at stake until the end. Except for those fighting relegation, Flamengo, the Brazilian and Libertadores champion, played far more games than anyone else. Well, this kind of thing for me is then here at the end of the article, we mention it. The Club World Cup delayed the presentation. But why, man? Why even say something like that? For what? You can immediately sense the intention to create something. There's no crisis. The players are just taking their entitled vacation. See that? I just saw here that Atlético Mineiro, man, I have to comment on this. They launched a project that's just that. It can only be a meme, right, guys? It has to be a meme. The Last Dance project was offered to Hulk. Now we just have to see what his decision will be. And you, what did you think about the comment on your final stretch at Galo? A small Sociedade Anônima do Futebol share and a statue at Arena MRV. Unbelievable, my friend. It's not possible. It is possible, my friend. No. Jose Arce, right, man? It can't be true. The guys are offering a guy, the guys are offering a part of the Sociedade Anônima do Futebol, a small portion of the Sociedade Anônima do Futebol. Yeah. Look, there's good news and bad news. The good news, the impressions from the meeting were positive. Hulk, who was accompanied by his wife, liked what he heard and left the meeting smiling. The bad news, the answer will come tomorrow. We'll have to hold our excitement. Man, check out Atlético Mineiro's project with Hulk. It's the meeting to decide the striker's future. It was last night, and then there was this decision. It comes out today. And man, the comments, let me pull up the comments here. Yeah, no. And Atletico's fans really F deserve it, right? But it's people commenting about him being the star of a strong team that fights for titles. Nothing, right? All he wants is Edeline 77. No player is bigger than Atlético Mineiro. He stays at Galo. The one who wants almost 2 years without delivering anything decent or worthy of his salary is Tulio Kennedy, documentary and statue. Everyone agrees he would have settled it already. Now, the problem is the participation in the Sociedade Anônima do Futebol man. It's me and G. Felipe Matos. I live to see Galo humiliate himself like this. For a regrettable player, no one is bigger than the club. Atlético Mineiro is Luis Henrique, D.M.M. Yeah, he deserves it, but he needs a strong, decent team to win titles. Man, the crowd is divided there. Atletico fans are splitting, thinking it might even be interesting to have a stake in the Sociedade Anônima do Futebol man. Honestly, I'll say it again. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. That's it. For me, that's way over the top, okay? In any situation, for any player to have a stake in the club's Sociedade Anônima do Futebol, for me, that's totally over the top. But if they think it's good for them, who am I to say anything? Look, Flamengo might receive. Here's some important news about Flamengo and Lucas Paquetá. Flamengo might receive 7 million reais. Ah, but it's nothing special and all. I would have preferred Flamengo signing Lucas Paquetá rather than receiving those 7 million. That's the truth. With the sale of Lucas Paquetá being confirmed, leaving Ezran and going to Tottenham, the deal is around 29 million euros. Flamengo, as his developing club, is owed 4%, about 7.1 million reais. But I, like any other fan here, would rather see Lucas Paquetá coming to play for Flamengo, right? And 29 million euros for someone who paid a little over 20 for Samuel Lino, for someone who offered 32 million euros for Caio Jorge, 29 million euros for Lucas Paquetá, right? They could have made an offer, right? And counted on the player's desire to play for his favorite club. What do you think? And Arrascaeta, who gave an interview to Leo Diaz at Henrique Juliano's show, Arrasca spoke first, said he really liked Sertanejo music, talked to Monique Arruda, my friend, who is a reporter for Leo Diaz. They even collaborated with me. In Arrascaeta's interview, he said, for sure, we really like Sertanejo music, right? This genre has long been strong in Brazil. When we were here, the first concert in Belo Horizonte was actually by that duo we met. And that's where we had closer contact with Sertanejo music. We're very happy today to be able to come back and watch this concert. And then he says, making it clear that he was enjoying it with his wife and everything. I'm very happy with the achievements. 2025 was a magical year, and 2026 is starting with really high expectations. But that doesn't guarantee anything. We know we'll need to work even harder because this year is likely to be even more difficult. I was very happy with the renewal of Felipe Luis. He's a good guy, someone I like a lot, and I believe he will still improve a lot. So Arrascaeta is saying that Felipe Luis will still improve a lot. We have that. Felipe Luis, who is in Europe, was at a game in Spain to watch Deportivo La Coruña, where he used to play against Cadiz. He watched the Deportivo La Coruña match against Cadiz, and Flamengo's coach also watched the game. He started his career there. The match featured the Brazilian goalkeeper Vitor Aznar, 23 years old, who is the starting goalkeeper for Cadiz. The Flamengo coach was probably watching this player, we can't say for sure. He was developed by Verona from Italy, came to Spanish football at 19 and is now 23 years old. Report by Felipe Silva. So Felipe Luis evaluating more players in Spain. Felipe Luis keeping an eye on the players that Flamengo scouting team selected is going to some matches. Felipe was with Boto at the Sporting match where they also watched. There, some players say it was Luis Suarez, but it wasn't. First, they talked about the goalkeeper Andrew, then they talked about Luis Suarez, the Colombian striker. And Flamengo is keeping an eye on players, looking for the possibility of signing Brazilian or South American players who play in Europe. Flamengo is reducing foreign players, which is why they're focusing more on Brazilians playing in Europe